The U.S. Department of Justice is investigating to see if the National Basketball Association have violated any antitrust laws against Ice Cube's Big 3 League. For those of you who have been living under a rock and who didn't know this, rapper and actor Ice Cube is part owner of a professional basketball league called the Big 3 League, which is a half-court 3-on-3 professional basketball league that plays its games during the summer months, which is the NBA's off season, because the NBA does not have their regular season in the summer months, And of course, I don't need to explain to you guys what the NBA is. I think we already know that the NBA is one of the 4 major professional sports leagues in the United States, right? But Ice Cube have alleged that the NBA is conspiring to destroy his company by one, trying to convince its advertisers to not conduct business with the Big 3 League, and by 2, convincing the NBA team owners to not invest in the Big 3. And if these allegations are proven to be true, then the NBA have violated federal laws, which stops companies from becoming a monopoly within an industry, which is the main reason why these antitrust laws was invented anyway. The 3 major antitrust laws that we have in the United States of America, one is called the Sherman Act, another one is called the Federal Trade and Commissions Act, and another law is called the Clayton Act. And together, these laws promote fair business competition across all industries in the United States, thus preventing one company from being the only company within an industry in the United States. The federal government believes that fair business competition is great for the economy, that is great for employees, is great for customers, and it's also great for the government themselves, because the more companies that can exist in the industry, the more companies that the government can tax, so the more money that the government can make. So it's good for the economy all across the board. And when you do your history on companies attempting to monopolize in the United States during the 1800s, then you have a further understanding of antitrust laws. So once again, these antitrust laws are laws which prevents a company from becoming a monopoly within a certain industry. So when it comes to this topic, Ice Cube is alleging that the NBA is attempting to monopolize in being the only professional basketball league in the United States, thus trying to destroy the Big 3 League, which is another professional basketball league in the United States, thus seeing the Big 3 League as a threat. So if the Department of Justice does find evidence in their investigation which proves Ice Cube's allegations to be true, the NBA will end up paying hefty fines. As a matter of fact, right? If you read one of the antitrust laws called the Sherman Act, the Sherman Act specifically outlaws companies from restraining other companies from conducting fair trade and commerce. So if it is true that the NBA have convinced its advertisers to not conduct business with the Big 3, then that means that the NBA literally is trying to stop the Big 3 from conducting fair business and trade, or commerce and trade, which violates the Sherman Act. One of the 3 major, like I said before, one of the 3 major body of laws that outlaws monopolizing. So this is interesting. This is a very interesting a topic of discussion. As a matter of fact, I remember not too long ago I made a prior video concerning this topic. But in that video, based on what I've read, it seems as if at that time, Ice Cube only spoke about how the NBA refused to support the Big 3 League, right? In this case, a company does not have to support another company if they don't want to. But at the same time, a company by law does not have the right to restrain another company from conducting in commerce and or trade. Or in other words, a company does not have the right to restrain another company from making its money or from attempting to make its money. And when it comes to this article right here, in which the link to this article is located in the video description box, Ice Cube is alleging the NBA of committing the latter, that they're trying to stop the Big 3 from making its money or attempting to make its money. And once again, if that's the case, then the NBA have broken federal law. And if these allegations made by the Big 3 League is true, then the NBA would end up having to pay the federal government a hefty fine. But my question is this: if that's the case, let's say hypothetically speaking, there is proof that the NBA, or there is proof that Ice Cube's allegations against the NBA is true, and the NBA end up paying a hefty fine, would that itself repair any damages that the NBA might have done to the Big 3, to the Big 3 League? Will it just stop? Will the consequences or the punishment for the NBA just stop right there which is paying the government a fine? Because once again, if there is evidence to support the Big Three's allegations against the NBA, then that means something has to give when it comes to repairing the damages that the NBA, hypothetically speaking, have done to the Big 3 as a league. So I wonder, would the federal government enforce any type of reparations to the Big 3, or anything to that nature to the Big 3, if these allegations are true? So this is very interesting. And you know what's so funny is that the department, when it comes to these professional sports leagues, the NBA is not the only sports league that the Department of Justice is investigating to see if they violated any antitrust acts. Because currently, the DOJ is also investigating the PGA, the FIFA Soccer League, and the NCAA to see if these entities have violated any antitrust laws also. So what a lot of people are not realizing is that college and professional sports are being targeted, I wouldn't say targeted, but heavily investigated by the federal government to see if whether or not these entities have or are attempting to be a monopoly within the certain sect that they conduct business in. So it's interesting. So let's see what the future would unravel when it comes to this situation. And once again, for those of you who want to read this article, the link to this article is located in the video description box underneath. All right, I'm out. Peace.